At that first point of departure, once you've checked through at the likes of a Gautrain station in Sandton, for instance, is who's serving you relevant information to help you peace of mind pre-journey? Because the pre-journey is an incredibly stressful period. But who's serving you information around your flight, around the departures? Is everything on time? Have flights been cancelled? Are you on an earlier flight? So there's no brand that's actually connecting and providing that sort of first level peace of mind information for you. So for instance, Vodacom would be an ideal client who could actually serve Wi-Fi network into the environment, large format digital interactive screens, the arrivals and departure screens actually on platform level at the Gautrain station in Sandton. We're seeing none of that happen at this particular point. You're waiting to get to the airport to run down the passage to find the first departure screen, which is maybe a 55-inch screen hanging 4 or 5 meters up in the ceiling, and it's absolute panic and stress till you've registered with that screen to know that you're on time. Whereas if that happened half an hour earlier in the journey at the point of Sandton Gautrain station, suddenly there's just a very different approach to your journey getting to Sandton. So for me, that's a critical piece. Then the ability to reconnect with that information when you actually arrive at the airport. So if you've had some pre-information served to you, when you arrive at the information, there's just a chance to check in one more time to see that that information is still relevant. Again, adds another layer of ease to the journey. Then at that particular point, it can also give you some information to direct you to the respective check-in station and aisle. There's a multitude of aisles, 30, 40, 100 if you're counting the international departures as well. South African Airways, for instance, international departures actually check-in is at the domestic terminal. A lot of people don't know that. Guys who are running tight to the schedule are heading off to domestic, at least to international, finding that there's no SSA check-in counter there, running all the way back to domestic, and you're cutting it fine, you're adding a layer of stress to the journey. So if the information can be served to you to just help you filter and understand where you're going, how long it's going to take to get there, peace of mind. The great thing about the international airports is once you've checked through, they are feeding you information relative to the anticipated time, taking into consideration the average walking speed to a departure gate, to a restaurant, to the next point. I think if we bring that information to the land side, it'll also help start managing the expectations as to, that the check-in at ORT on a Friday and a Monday are absolutely ridiculously hectic because people are either going back to Cape Town for their weekend homes or coming to Joburg to spend the week here or vice versa. So if you can manage expectation of how long the check-in queue is going to be, what happens on the other side, it just takes a lot of the stress away. And one of the critical factors that we have here, if I look at my chart, is that on arrival through to your first point of baggage check-in, your stress levels expand exponentially. Once you're through the departure gate lounge, the stress level sort of levels. Once you're actually through the boarding gate, it drops fundamentally. However, when you're on the flight, it actually picks up again because there's the anticipation of the mayhem that arrives the other side. Collect your baggage. Am I going to get through at the right time? Where's my pickup point, etc., etc. So there's a wonderful sort of cycle of stress levels in and out and around the journey. And I don't think that AXA or any of the brands are taking ownership to enable that peace of mind in that environment.